Let's talk about blood. Blood is made of basically two things. Now those things are made of other things, but the two, if we took blood and broke it into two major categories, what are the things it's made of?
Water, platelet.
Plasma and material. We forgot what the actual name is.
Doesn't it have a
Plasma?
lot of water? It's a lot of protein.
Yeah, plasma is the liquid portion of blood. And that is mostly water, is what plasma is. And then besides plasma, what do we have?
Mineral or material?
Red blood
The
cells.
solid portion.
Cells. Okay. And of these things, and I'd love to give you hard numbers because they're way easier to remember, just like it's this percent this and this percent this. Man, I wish it were that simple. It's not. Basically, cells make up 37 to 54%.
Why such a wide range?
Yeah, I know, right? The range has to do primarily with two things: anemia, where people don't have enough red blood cells or iron, but it actually has more to do with hydration. So, if this is 37 to 54%, what's this? Okay, so 56.
46.
Oh, sorry, my bad. 46 to 63% is plasma. The numbers range so greatly because this number in you is different now than when you woke up this morning, and will be different when you go to bed tonight, and will be different if you're outside sweating, and will be different shortly after you drink some water and stuff. So this number is constantly in flux. So this is a range because this is relative to this. How much water you have in your bloodstream relative to the amount of cells or plasma. But there's more to plasma than just water.
So if you got cut and you didn't drink much water, your blood would be thicker than it would be if you drank more water.
Potentially, yeah. At least for a short period of time, because the body's constantly working to regulate that balance too. Okay, so it's not going to just leave something the way that it is. You know, if you've got too much water in your bloodstream, if this number rises too much, your body's going to compensate by filtering out of your kidneys and making you pee a bunch. That's really how it works. So, the most prominent component of plasma is what?
Water.
Water. Because water makes up about 92% of plasma. Now this next thing, when I talk about the quantity of it, it's just staggering. Any guesses? Plasma,
6%.
1%.
there's a word after this.
Plasma platelets.
Starts with a P.
Plasma.
Like a boss.
Protein.
There we go.
If you put like a boss on the final, I'm pretty sure everybody's gonna get it right.
Like a boss. Plasma proteins, they make up 7%. Which, 7% doesn't sound like a lot. That is a whole lot of proteins, gang. 7%. That's the reason that your blood, well, first of all, is sticky. If your plasma, it sets up and so on and so forth, you ever have a scrape on your arm and it's starting to, like it's bleeding, and then that blood gets a little less red and a little more yellowy and clear. What happens is as scabs form, like when your body stops to bleed, it makes like a web of material like this, and that web catches the red blood cells, but the plasma proteins are small enough to leak through. If you've ever touched that stuff, it's really, really sticky, and it's because of the proteins that are dissolved in the plasma. This is also the reason it's difficult to create, or impossible presently to create, synthetic blood, because we can't create the quantity or type of proteins necessary, nor can we create the cells. So if you need blood, where are you getting it from?
Another person.
Yeah, someone else who donates it. Which, again, in this class, if I haven't mentioned it yet, donating blood is worth 10 bonus points.
When do we get the chance?
That won't happen, sorry.
Right. There is other options I haven't come up with yet.
When do
But
we get- when do-
Stab yourself in the arm.
anytime you give blood this semester is worth 10 points. Okay,
We
just
don't
got
do it here
to.
at the school anymore?
I don't think they've got a blood
They
drive
already
this.
did it.
Yeah. For this year was earlier. It was last semester. Okay. Now,
You get blood out.
the American Red Cross or sometimes the movie theater does blood drives. When they do, they give you a free movie ticket, so that's good, dude. Yeah. All right.
Too
So
bad won't happen.
other.
I'm scared of needles. No.
All right. Relax. I'm not taking anybody's blood today. All right. So.
Tomorrow. Come with a bunch of bags.
Okay. Other solutes make up 1%. Like well, that's pretty broad. Yeah, so are the other solutes. This includes all of your nutrients, all of them. All the sugars in your bloodstream, all the protein, not all the proteins, but all the amino acids and all the things that we get energy out of floating through our bloodstream. That includes that. It also includes all the waste products floating through. Waste, hormones, and other things like that. There's tons and tons of stuff that makes up the other category. But all the nutrients that keep us alive and give us the energy we need still make up less than 1% of it, and 7% is proteins. It's just a huge quantity. Okay. Beyond that, we need to talk about cells. Cells, they're made of organelles. Cells. Okay. As we looked at my blood the other day, what was the most prominent of all the cells?
Red blood cells.
Yeah, by a lot. Red blood cells. They make up 99.9% of all blood cells. In a nutshell, let's talk about these dudes. Okay? Has a bullet point. Okay. They're round. They dent in the middle. Okay. Kind of look like like a cream saver, sort of.
Or a life. Oh, there's actually something in the middle of
Yeah,
it.
there's
Okay.
there's a dent there. There's not a hole. It's just like dented in the middle. Maybe like a
You know
like a
those,
Werther's.
brown with like the white in the middle, like the brown.
Yeah, like breath savers that are
Yeah.
they don't have a hole all the way through them. They just have like a dent in the middle. They kind of look like that. Okay. They are loaded with hemoglobin. Okay. Hemoglobin is a complex protein, like a boss, that absorbs O2. In fact, I'm going to put a little note here with hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is bright red when O2 is attached, and it's called oxyhemoglobin. And it's dark red when O2 is not attached. It's called deoxyhemoglobin. Okay. Loaded with hemoglobin. Here's be more specific. 280 million hemoglobin molecules in every red blood cell.
Is there like any change of that number?
Oh yeah.
So
So
it's just approximate.
right, it's approximate. Most people have between 260 and 300 million hemoglobin molecules in
How do you get this number?
every red blood cell.
Like, how do they get this number since it's so small?
It's a good question.
Like, is it that one guy that doesn't count them?
One,
Oh, I missed one.
two, I don't know. It's an estimation based on, yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, Most of these are estimations. This next one is an estimation as well, okay? There are 25 trillion red blood cells in the average adult.
Well, there's just one big one.
That'd be tricky. When he's oxygenated, everything's fine. When he's not, we all pass out. So we go in and out. You know.
That's when we get tired.
25 trillion, folks. We only have 100 trillion cells in the body, so about 25% of all of our cells in our body are red blood cells. Okay. These things are constantly working, constantly being replaced. These are also the ones responsible for blood type. Okay. We have blood types because there are proteins on the surface.
What's your blood type?
Mine?
Yeah.
B positive, which is also my outlook on life.
Be positive.
Yeah. I'll prove it to you in the next one when I poke my finger. This is cool about having just one section of Anatomy 1 in the second semester, is I only have to poke my finger one time that day as opposed to 5. Okay. Besides red blood cells, and I may come back to a little bit more detail on that, we have what else? White blood cells.
The lipid.
Yeah. These things fight disease.
Like a boss.
Yes, they do. Fight disease through, there's a biology word, phagocytosis. You may or may not remember that, but that's cell eating. Basically, they eat the bad guys. Bacteria comes in, they're like, hey, we're going to take over. White blood cells like, hey, good to see you. Nom, nom. And that's pretty much it. Okay. So, white blood cells. Ooh, I should give you other names here. Up here, somewhere toward the top with red blood cells, write this word.
Erythrocytes, however you say it.
Wow,
Erythrocytes.
yeah,
Erythrocytes. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, so I'm trying to spell it, but I'm struggling.
What do you have? ERYRTHROCYTES maybe?
That sounds right. Slow that down.
ERYRTHROCYTES.
There an O here?
Urethro.
Erythro. Wow. Start
Oh my God, I don't know.
Just write it for him.
I'm gonna struggle.
Okay.
Good thing is I'm recording this, so everyone can see my buffoonery.
YRTHROCYTES.
Yeah.
The O comes after the THR, right?
That look right?
Yeah.
Erythrocytes. The suffix "cyte" means cell. Erythro means red. Okay. Down here, white blood cells are called leukocytes. Leukocytes. Okay.
Is that why it's called leukemia?
Uh-huh. Because that's a cancer of these cells. Okay. And then number 3, I'll get into more detail on these maybe later on, okay? Number 3 on here is going to be platelets.
Everything sits on.
Platelets are basically cell fragments used for what? Clotting. A clot is called a thrombus. Therefore, these are called thrombocytes. So 3 types of cells: red, white, and thrombocyte, just like the flag. What? Okay. Cell fragments used for clotting. There's a delicate balance where this is concerned too. People that don't have enough of these or other clotting factors have hemophilia and they bleed and can't stop bleeding. And then there's folks that have too much of these in comparison to their general health condition and could end up with heart attacks or strokes. A heart attack and a stroke is the same thing happening two different places. A blockage in the heart muscle tissue or the coronary arteries is a heart attack. A stroke is a blockage where?
In the head.
Brain.
In the brain. It's basically stopping blood. And the same thing happening in your lungs is called a pulmonary embolism. All of those things are
So,
very, very
If you get a
bad.
blockage in your leg, could you get a heart attack then?
If that blockage travels up to the heart and gets in the coronary vessels, then it could.
What's caused just in the leg then? On the limb?
It's just called a thrombus.
Oh.
Yeah, or thrombosis, deep vein thrombosis, or things like
Okay.
that. Yep. All right, that's where we're going to stop for today.
What's an aneurysm?
An aneurysm is actually a swelling of a blood vessel, like the wall of it becomes weakened and it starts to swell up. It's not where it's bursted yet, but where it's really close to bursting.